All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just had a little short break to give everyone the opportunity to go out, refresh themselves and be back. We're going to get started with our next topic, which is Beyond the Cookie Cutter, New Challenges in the World of Marketing in the Light of the Changing Landscape. For this, I would invite on stage in a little while Mr. V. Vaidyanathan, Founder and Executive Chairman, Capital First Limited. Mr. V. Vaidyanathan founded Capital First Limited by first acquiring an equity stake in an existing NBFC, changing the business model and then executing a management buyout by securing an equity backing of rupees 8.1 billion in 2012 from PE Warburg Pincus. Post the buyout, he holds shares and options totaling 11.5% of the equity of the company on a fully diluted basis. He's transformed the company into a large retail financing institution with operations in 228 locations across India. During his career, he and his organization have received a large number of domestic and international awards, and the company cap went up by 10 times in just 5 years to about 1 billion rupees. So if may I please call on stage Mr. V. Vaidyanathan to hold this session for us, sir. May I please have you on stage? Thank you so much. This is for the people who are sitting outside the hall right now. So all you gentlemen and ladies who are here, thank you so much. But requesting everyone who can hear my voice outside, please do come back in. We're going to start our next session. The little bell that tolls right now is to remind all of you to come back inside. I understand the coffee and tea is really nice, but you can get it along back inside. So we're going to get started. I'm requesting everyone to please come back and take their seats. Presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that introduction. First of all, my very warm compliments to Exchange for Media, BW Business World, for organizing this event. And thank you very much for inviting me to speak on this very important subject, given to me at least for this keynote called Beyond the Cookie Cutter, and New Challenges in the World of Marketing in the Context of the Changing Landscape. As most of you here are aware, I run financial services and I've done that for 27 years. And largely in this zone of consumer banking, retail banking, and now for the last 7 years we've been building Capital First. My experience largely, while it is in the zone of financial services, and today's subject being something in the zone of how are we going to move beyond the cookie cutter, what I tried to do was to actually see the changing landscape as we see it particularly in the context of digitization that's happening of India. And I'm going to actually put some 10 significant points which describe the direction in which the whole set of ecosystem is moving. And then we have to then move the discussion forward to see what is the impact it will have on marketing and advertising professionals, on which I'm supposed to talk about. Now, all of us know that the ecosystem of what we saw of India maybe 15, 20 years ago, where barely color TVs were just about beginning to arrive in India, or internet was about to come to India, to what we are beginning to see today, we all know it's a dramatically different country. If somebody was a Rip Van Winkle and woke up today after 20 years, he would not understand half the terms we talk about today, whether it's AI, ML, and so on. Now, there are 10 separate data points which I have to describe to you, and that in those 10 points you will actually get a good sense of what really is going on. In the last 1 year alone, the number of internet connections in India have gone up by 32%, and the Indian population has gone up by 2%, which means that internet penetration as such has gone up by 30%, which is quite a staggering number. Number two, 77% of urban users consider mobile as the primary device for accessing the internet, primary device. And 92% of rural users consider mobile as the primary device for accessing the internet. Now, each one of the 10 points which I'm bringing out have significant implication for marketing, and therefore, as these points are rolling out, I request all of you to start thinking for your respective organization, how much of your advertising, marketing, product strategy is aligned to these numbers that I'm describing in front of you. Number three, the blend of this 77% for rural, 77% for urban, and 92% for rural is 79%, which is the number of people who are accessing internet only and directly on the mobile. And 79% for India, for your information, compares with 30% in Germany, 34% in UK, 38% in US, 35% in Singapore, 53% in China, and global average of 50%. So when you think about it, India has just fast forward the story and accessing internet bypassing the PC. Number three, Android alone is expected to have 73% of the market share with more than 1.8 billion users in 2017, followed with Apple with 21% and Windows with 4%. Number five, rural India has 906 million people and has only 17% internet penetration. As you can well understand the potential when this starts moving towards about 60% in the days to come. Next, Indians are also the biggest app downloaders from Google Play, with more than 6 billion downloads during 2014 to 16. So again, how much of our ads, how much of our marketing, how much of our product strategy is revolving around apps? We all know that the Indian smartphone shipment growth last year increased by about 15% after a slowdown the previous year. Data prices quite shocked me when I saw the numbers. We all know data prices are coming down in India, but look at this data. Data prices, I picked this from the BW marketing white book, and I thought it's very relevant data. In 2014, it was $4.4 per GB. Now it is 17 cents per GB. That's a dramatic crash that's happened just in 2 years. The total monthly wireless data consumed has increased 9 times in 9 months between June 16 to March 17, 9x. Finally, the Indian broadband subscriptions have registered more than 85% growth on a yearly basis to 277 million users. Now, all of these are part of this presentation which I have for you here, and I'm not really leaving, I'll leave this presentation with you, but they're all there to share with you that across every one of these parameters, you can see that there are something pretty dramatic things happening. Now, when you look at these, you almost see everyone with a mobile phone almost walking these days, and you can almost see that you can get into a bit of trouble. One of the things that we get to see these days that even children are using mobile phones all the way, sometimes not a very pleasant feeling for parents, but you can see this all the time in schools, you can see this in colleges, except in classrooms where they're not permitted, you can see them using these mobile phones. You can see that even toddlers can tell you that your advertising has to go digital because literally this is what is really happening. Now, when this is what's really happening, now the question that I'm quickly moving on to, therefore, among all of us, is that while these big trends are all well known and captured here for today's discussion among all of you, the point I'm going to leave with among us is what is it about digitization that is driving, or should be driving our marketing bucks and our advertising bucks towards digitization. Before you go there, this one says that as with every industry, the movers and shakers will always follow the money. For the first time in TV history, the money isn't being funneled towards actual TVs. Instead, digital platforms continue to eat up more and more business. And by the end of 2016, e-marketer projects that US digital ad sales will surpass traditional TV for the first time. This one further goes on to say that digital advertising is not only pulling dollars from traditional media, it is also creating new opportunities at the local and national level. It further says that while traditional TV ad spending is still growing thanks to event-based programming like presidential elections and so on, it will be difficult for it to compete with the convenience of digital TV because many programs these days are not appearing on the mainstream television at all. The content is straight away being produced for the digital, is being played on digital, and that's where the consumers are going. So this is the context with which we are continuing with the rest of the presentation. Now, it's not a wonder, therefore, that in the last 1 year alone, we are seeing that advertising revenue or advertising through television is actually grown by 17%, radio has grown by 7%, newspapers by 6%, magazines minus 14%, and in fact, it is minus 14% on the top of 13.4% the previous year. And you can see that the digital is gone up by 47%. So clearly, the numbers that we presented in the first 5 minutes of this talk with regard to how much the world is changing around digital, the advertising and marketing world is beginning to recognize that. Otherwise, it wouldn't have grown by 45% last year and 47% compounded on top of that. This is an interesting slide that we observed. For example, between 2015 to 17, the ad spends on mobile is soaring actually. It's 22.4% going up to 30%, and as per Statista, this number is headed to 52.8%. And spending on desktop is coming down from 77.6% and looking like heading towards the 47.2%. Now, when we look at India's number of $1.8 billion being spent on digital advertising, it's still a stunningly small number as compared to, say, US, which is $90 billion, China, which is $55 billion, UK, which is $15 billion, Japan, which is close to $9.5 billion, and Germany, which is $7.1 billion. So any which way you look at it, in terms of where is the ecosystem moving to, what are the kind of spends that are happening, and what are the advantages that a digital medium gets to give vis-a-vis a traditional medium, it is pretty clear where the story is headed. Now, this is a story about where are the money going, but I will leave this presentation with you for you to have a quick look at this later. Now, what's happening here? When we look at the key difference what digitization brings to our life, it is mainly a contextualization and personalization. For example, just the last week I had a shoulder injury and I went to my doctor and he prescribed to me something called a Newbona Active tablet, which I assume is some sort of a calcium. And I go to the internet to take a double check of what the doctor's ordered to me. And it's not just that it has described to me information about the Newbona Active tablet, it is also telling me, do you want to consult a doctor online? This is a contextual advertising, which clearly, if we advertise in a magazine is not going to tell us, hey, by the way, I can give you a doctor. It then further goes on to say that the products related to Newbona Active tablet are these. Then it further goes on to say that the articles related to Newbona Active tablet are these. Do you want to read any of the articles? From there, it is able to say that do you want to have, these are the offers we have on the new Bono Active tablet. Now, again, a physical advertising could never give this to us. It further says, by the way, it takes it one step further. It says, by the way, the top physicians who can help you are these. Pooja Khosla, so-and-so, Dr. this, Dr. Ghai, Dr. Rahul. So it says these are the 5 doctors who can solve your problem. Because contextually it is figured out you have a shoulder problem, these 5 doctors can solve you. And then if I click on the doctor, it can actually take me and link me to the doctor and probably give me even an online video call. Now, this is a very good example to say that this is how contextually something can do, which no television advertising can do, which no newspaper, which no magazine advertising can do. Now, this is something that I experienced just last week. It goes on from there to say it doesn't stop there. Then it further tells us that the people who used this Chimeral Forte tablet, who used it 3 times a day, what was the side effect faced by them? People who used it 2 times a day, what was the side effect faced by them? And did they face a side effect? Never. Or did you have nausea? Did you have vomit? Did you have diarrhea? Did you have itching? How did you take this medicine? Did you take it with food, without food, with water, without water? And how much was the improvement? So this is the kind of information that is available to a consumer when he is going online, and therefore our advertising is becoming a lot more contextual. I am not even using the word personal. It is still not personal. The finest example of personalized advertising comes from Amazon, which I'll come to a little later. I'm just showing you how contextual advertising is far more impactful in people's lives than just doing advertising on a magazine or a television. Now, you see, the other day, I don't know if many of you know, but I'm a long distance runner. And I often find that the mobile phone which I carry is rather large for a run because I feel it's heavy, I feel it's large. So I went to the Amazon site and I said, world's smallest mobile phone. I really need it because when I'm running, I just want to carry as little weight as possible. But at the same time, I need it to be smart. I needed to be able to stream mobile, music to me, and I need to be able to take calls with my family even if I'm running a long distance. So I went there and said, okay, let me look for the world's smallest, lightest, slim mobile phone. Okay, it showed me some options, but the issue didn't end there, or the personalization didn't end there. Then wherever I went after that, for the next half an hour, 1 hour, even a day, this ad will keep popping out at me saying that, by the way, you look for it. And this is not here. I could go to First Post, I could go to Economic Times, I could go anywhere. This ad would pop at me saying that this is what you look for it. Now, this is really contextual and this is really personalized. Now, you see how much more it gets personal from there. You say special offers, customers who viewed this phone also looked for that phone. Then it goes on to say what other customers buy after viewing this item. Then we say sponsored products linked to this. Then we say product information. Then we say customer queries and answers about how they experienced this particular instrument. Then we say what are the customer reviews. Then we go on to say you recently viewed this item, so you log in after 3 days or 4 days. Hey, by the way, you logged in for this. So I'm just giving you a small example of letting you know that this medium is now permitting us the kind of personalization which basically any other medium just cannot. So far, so good. So when we look at the what these mediums can give, the key thing that it's giving is, what is a marketer's wish? A marketer's wish is usually to say, look, can I get intimate with the customer? And there are many solutions you get if you get intimate with the customer. For example, a Kirana shop chain is always intimate with the customer. A wealth manager is intimate with this customer. This is intimacy. But at the same time, problem is that you cannot scale it beyond a point because you need more and more human resources. The machine is able to automate it, but it's not intimate. Now, what some of these things is doing through artificial intelligence is bringing intimacy and automation together and is able to take it to a very, very large scale. And that is the power of this entire digitization. So far, so good. But we have to then start looking. We get very excited. We say digital marketing is the place to be. We want to be. And we saw from the numbers that close to about 47% compounded increases happening on digitization spends in India between 2014 to 16. I assume 2017 won't be very different. So good. But then we also have to see, we experience the following, what I'm going to show you. When we say something is personal, we also see it can be personalized fraud. It is personalized for you or personalized trouble for you. Because one is, for example, one of the kind of ads that I see is this. You say, your system is heavily damaged by virus. We detect that your Samsung or your Google phone, etc., is 21.1% damaged because of 4 harmful viruses from recent sites. Now, soon it will damage your phone SIM card and will corrupt your contacts, photos, data, applications, etc. If you do not remove this virus now, it will cause severe damage to your phone. And here's what you need to do. Tap the button, install this app, and it's free, open. Now, it is pretty obvious that this is a scam. It's not that there's any virus there. But let me just say that if you do this on 100 people, maybe 80 of them will say, hey man, really I have a virus on my phone. It really scares you. Now, the newspaper never did a scare advertisement to you. Maybe a magazine never did scare you. The worst part is that you try to click this event off by saying you're pressing it so that you can get it. Just doesn't go away. It's as pesky as it gets. Now, the only way finally you do this is actually you boot your PC, or boot your laptop, your mobile phone, and then hope this goes away. But it doesn't go away. Then I went to the Google and tried to figure out how to get rid of this problem. Then it said, then I read on some site that no, this actually, it's an app. You don't have a virus problem. So then they said, okay, go to the respective apps that you may have installed over the last few days and uninstall all of them because one of them is carrying this advertisement. Point therefore is that while digitization brought to us personalization, while it brought to us contextualization, and we saw those examples and felt very happy and thrilled about it as marketers, this is the other problem that's coming along with it. This is the other problem that we get to see, and it's pretty common. We say that, first of all, you visit, before the content, you'll just see the whole page covered up. You click on it, it doesn't go away. You click on it. If it goes away, he just slowly goes away. Then before you could read the next page, it's coming back at you again in a different form. Now, all of these are as much irritants, and people here who are advertisement and marketing professional should be very aware that the more you keep covering the page by saying the person looking at you, he's actually getting more and more irritated with you. He swears on you or swears against you. Sometimes what happens is that you must have all experienced this. You're surfing for something, and one advertisement starts playing, not just showing, playing loudly. Now what do is you flick between, you change the browser, you flick here, do a Control-Alt, whatever. It's just not going away because you don't know where it's coming from. Then you scratch your head, then finally you come out of the browser, and then you'll figure out that this problem is going away. Now, all I'm saying is that the same marketing, the same artificial intelligence, the same contextualization, the same personalization can just fire you the other way when it wants to, and this is one of the issues that many of us face. This is the other problem we have, fake news. So the problem with many of these fake news is that you don't know it's fake because it's so contextually personalized for you at that point of time, just before the election. If they know that you're on this side of the fence, or if you're undecided, then the advertisement is precisely showing you that ad which will help you tilt over to this side. Or you might see an ad that's just appearing for a period of time, for about 10 seconds or 20 seconds, it's already influenced you, it's gone away. In the physical world, you could have sued somebody, you could have taken a photograph of that cutting and then gone to the advertising council or to the court and say, look at the advertisement, I don't agree with this, it's all false. Now this fellow's popped up, he's appeared for a while, he's gone away, now whom do you sue? Now this is a jungle out there. And in this jungle, you have nobody. It's like in the jungle, I assume no animals can sue the other animal for whatever they did to them. Here you can sue nobody. It's just come and it's gone. It's a fake news, it's come, it's gone. If it's a misleading advertisement, it's come, it's gone. Now, if your reputation is tarnished, it's tarnished, but you have to move on. Now, that's one of the issues that we get to face in this whole thing. Therefore, I would therefore say, before I take this up for any Q&A, is that this is a digital jungle out here. and it is what it is. Whether you like it, you don't like it, you like the space, you have the skill for it, you don't have the skill for it, you have the knowledge, you have the people, you don't have the people for it, whatever it is what it is, it's moving at space, we can't do much about it. But at the same time, we know it has many benefits, but there is nobody to scream at. You can scream if you want, there is no umpire here. So the challenge, according to me, for digital marketers is how to build the digital as a new business and not a digitization of the existing business. As we all know, there's a big difference between the two. How to personalize our advertising in the digital world, albeit we know it's important, but how do we personalize it but not intrude? How to contextualize it, like the example I gave you, but not be creepy. How to sell but not be pesky, and how to finally protect from the nameless maverick on the road. Who is the nameless maverick on the road? Suppose you have a brilliant brand built over 100 years, right? Now, there's one nameless maverick coming there, impersonating your brand, making some offers, making some promises, and gets a customer and shuts it and goes away. For example, on a highway, you could be driving your car really very well, but if the other guy, idiot, is coming the other side of you or overtaking you the wrong way and throws you off gear because he's drunk, you are as affected. You can't say he's drunk, he's mad. You are affected, right? It's pretty much the same highway. It's pretty much the same jungle situation we're talking about here. How do you protect yourself from these nameless mavericks on the road is something that we need to think about. Now, frankly, for many of these, it's not as despondent as it is because, obviously experienced marketers who have gone through this effort, gone through the learning cycle, have developed ways and means of figuring this out, and it's not as nameless and as much of a jungle as it looks like out there. But fact is that I would imagine that if people are putting a lot of effort in building their organizations, hiring the people, building the technologies, building products, looking at markets, and looking at growing their organization the way everyone is thinking, happy and high in India these days, and we also begin to think that digital advertising is going to be a significant part of the storyline. We got to put a lot of effort and skills and knowledge and training and contemporization on the digital world to make our product advertising marketing campaign work. So that's my very quick brief to talk to all of you today. I got a few minutes in case anybody has any questions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, friends, are we okay? So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you. Bye.